Listen, I want you to really hear me when I say this. They gone miss you instantly. Not weeks later, not after you gone for months, instantly. The second your presence leaves the room, the second your energy fades, people gone realize what you really brought to the table. Because truth is, we don't always recognize value when it's in front of us. We take consistency for granted. We overlook the ones who show up every day, who pour into others while carrying their own pain. But when that kind of soul walks away, the silence hits different. So today I want to break down what that means. Why being missed instantly is more than just a memory. It's a reflection of how you moved, how you lived, and what you gave this world while you was here. Because legacy ain't about how long you lived. It's about how deep you touched. Let's talk about it. See, when you're authentic, when you show up as you unapologetically, your energy leaves fingerprints on every room you walk in. It's like your spirit introduces you before you even speak. I've learned that realness got a vibration you can't fake. You ever been around somebody who don't even got to talk much, but the whole room feel different when they there? That's presence. That's the kind of energy that can't be copied, can't be duplicated, can't be imitated. Presence comes from alignment, when your heart, your actions, your purpose all moving in the same direction. When what you believe matches what you do, people feel that truth in your aura. You don't need validation, applause, or a crowd. Your spirit speaks louder than any words you could say. But the problem is most people out here wearing masks. They trying to be accepted, trying to fit in, trying to flex for approval. The world made them believe they gotta perform just to be seen. Social media done turned everybody into an actor. People posting highlights but hiding their pain, chasing likes instead of chasing growth. They so busy trying to look real, they forgot how to be real. But when you're authentic, your value don't come from attention. It comes from your energy. Real recognize real, and that's why even when you quiet, your presence still heavy. It's why when you leave, people feel that gap, because what you brought to the table wasn't fake. It was spirit, it was heart, it was genuine love. See, the thing about being real is it's expensive. It costs comfort, it costs acceptance, sometimes it even costs relationships, because when you start walking in truth, you expose people who living in illusion. You stop matching energies and start setting standards. You stop entertaining what don't serve you, and that makes people uncomfortable. But that's the price of being solid. You lose the fake to make space for the real. You stop trying to be liked and you start being felt. Think about Nipsey in the neighborhood. He didn't have to say a word. His energy uplifted blocks. His actions inspired generations. He built businesses, created opportunities, stood on principles that couldn't be bought. His moves spoke louder than his mouth ever could. When he was gone, the city felt it instantly. In the air, in the streets, in the music, in the culture. That's what happens when you live real. You leave an imprint that don't fade. People didn't just miss Nipsey the rapper. They missed the presence he brought, the energy that reminded you it's possible to rise without leaving your roots. That's real legacy. See, when you authentic, you give people permission to do the same. You remind them they ain't gotta pretend. You remind them they can stand on truth even when it ain't popular. Your energy becomes a mirror reflecting strength, courage, and honesty. That's why when you gone, they miss that, because in a world full of illusions, truth is rare. And when something rare disappears, the void speaks loud. Being real ain't about being loud, it's about being consistent. It's about doing what's right when nobody watching. It's about staying grounded even when you elevated. It's about not letting success change your soul. Some people think being real means being raw or reckless, but it's deeper than that. Realness is integrity. It's how you treat people when you don't need them. It's how you move when the camera's off. It's how you stay loyal to your vision when the world trying to distract you. I remember when I first started grinding, I met people who tried to change how I moved. They'd say, tone it down, be more marketable, act like them. But I couldn't fake it. I knew my power came from my truth. I knew if I compromised my essence, I'd lose the very thing that made me valuable. That's the lesson. Your authenticity is your currency. Lose that, and you broke no matter how much money you touch. People gon' doubt you when you real. They gon' question your motives, misunderstand your silence, misinterpret your confidence as arrogance. But you gotta keep moving, because eventually that same energy they ignored gon' be the energy they miss. When you stop showing up for everybody, that's when they realize what you carried. That's when they realize you wasn't just another person, you was a foundation. You brought light, guidance, peace, and accountability. And those things can't be replaced. Look around you, real energy always stands out. It don't need to shout, It just is. You can't teach it, you can't manufacture it, you can't copy it. It comes from pain that turned into purpose. It comes from lessons that shaped your character. It comes from moments you could have folded but didn't. That's what makes your energy powerful, because it's been tested. And when that kind of energy leaves, people feel it immediately. They start realizing how empty conversations sound without your truth in the mix. They start noticing how rooms feel colder without your presence. They start missing the way your energy made them believe again. That's why being real matters, because even when you're not around, your authenticity still works for you. It speaks in silence. It inspires from a distance. So stop dimming your light to make others comfortable. Stop watering down your truth so you can fit in spaces you were meant to stand out in. The world needs what's real. It's starving for it. Everybody out here chasing trends, but you, be timeless. Be the one who don't fold. Be the one who moves with purpose and keeps it solid no matter what, because real ones get remembered different. Think about how certain people in your life shifted you, not because they gave you something, but because they were something. They carried peace, wisdom, and strength. When they left, it felt like the whole world tilted a little. That's the power of energy. That's the mark of someone who lived in truth. You can't fake that. And that's what I want you to understand when you reel. Your energy becomes a legacy. Long after you're gone, people still feel you. They quote your words, replay your moves, carry your lessons. Your presence turns into power that keeps living. So every day you wake up, don't just exist, be felt. Walk in your truth even when it's uncomfortable. Stand firm even when it's lonely. Because eventually your authenticity gonna echo louder than any noise the world could make. They gonna miss you instantly, not because you were perfect, but because you were real, because you carried something the world can't duplicate, your energy, your essence, your truth. And once that's gone, the silence hits different. See, everybody want to be remembered, but few people add real value. It's easy to talk about success, to post about purpose, to look like you grinding, but real impact, that's built in silence, in consistency, and service. When you walk in a room, people might notice your outfit, your confidence, your status, but when you leave, what they remember is how you made them feel. That's value. That's legacy. That's what separates a name from a story. Value ain't about money, it's about meaning. It's not what you can take from a place, it's what you can leave behind. You ever think about how some people pass through your life and change everything without even realizing it? A teacher that believed in you. A friend that checked on you when you was down bad. A stranger who said one sentence that shifted your whole mindset. That's value. It's not always big or flashy. It's quiet, consistent, intentional. See, a lot of people out here chasing validation instead of contribution. They want to be seen as valuable instead of being valuable. But Nipsey said it best. The game tests you, never fold under pressure. Stay solid. That's the kind of value that lasts, because when life shake up, real ones don't just survive, they serve. They bring peace, perspective, and solutions. They show up not asking, what can I get, but what can I give? When you start thinking like that, the universe starts shifting in your favor. Doors open that you didn't even knock on. Opportunities come that money couldn't buy, because energy like that can't be ignored. It attracts alignment. I remember hearing a story about a janitor who worked at NASA. Somebody asked him, what's your job here? And he said, I'm helping put a man on the moon. That's a mindset built on value. He didn't see himself as small because his title wasn't fancy. He saw himself as part of something bigger. That's the key. Every contribution matters when it's done with purpose. You could be the one that keeps things running smooth, the one that uplifts the team, the one that inspires belief in others. That's value. People gone miss that way faster than they'll miss money or titles, because genuine contribution don't fade, it multiplies. When Nipsey was building the Marathon store, he wasn't just selling clothes, he was building a system, a blueprint for ownership. He brought business back to his own block where most people told him not to. But that's what adding value looks like. It's not about leaving your people behind. It's about bringing them with you. He reinvested in the same streets that raised him, turned pain into purpose, struggle into structure. That's legacy. When you add value, you become irreplaceable. People might copy your style, your product, your sound, but they can't duplicate your impact, because value lives in spirit. It's in how you operate when nobody watching. It's in how you lift others when you could have just focused on yourself. Look, every room you walk in, you got two choices: drain it or elevate it. You either take energy or you give it. You either add weight or you add light. And the people who add light, they're the ones who get remembered. Because in a world full of takers, givers shine the brightest. I've been in rooms with millionaires who had no presence, And I've been in corners with hustlers who didn't have a dime but filled the room with hope. That's when I learned money don't make you valuable. Your mindset does. Your spirit does. So wherever you go, bring something. Bring wisdom. Bring peace. Bring that gotcha energy. Bring solutions instead of complaints. Bring humility instead of ego. Because when you move like that, you become magnetic. People want you around not because of what you have, but because of who you are. You ever notice how when a real one leave the circle, the whole dynamic change, the energy drop, the motivation fade, the laughs don't hit the same? That's because that person added something money couldn't buy. Maybe they were the peacekeeper. Maybe they were the motivator. Maybe they were the one who made everybody believe again. That's what it means to add value. You hold the glue together. The world got enough people chasing clout. Be the one chasing contribution. The world got enough talkers. Be the one that moves with action. You don't got to be the loudest, just the most consistent. Because consistency builds trust and trust builds legacy. You want to be missed instantly. Then pour into people daily. Drop wisdom even when they're not listening. Plant seeds even when the soil dry. Because eventually those seeds gon' grow. And when they do, people gon' trace it back to you. You might not get credit in the moment, but that's not why you do it. Real value don't need a spotlight. It creates its own shine. When you walk in purpose, people feel your presence even when you're gone. That's the kind of power that lives forever. Think about your own life. Every lesson you learned came from somebody who gave something: time, advice, correction, love, belief. That's value, and now it's on you to pass it forward. You become a vessel for what you once needed. That's how legacy moves. It circulates through people. So when you wake up, ask yourself, how can I leave this place better than I found it? That's how kings and queens move. That's how leaders move. It's not about being perfect. It's about being purposeful. You might not change the whole world, but you can change someone's world. And sometimes that's enough. At the end of the day, what really lasts ain't the applause. It's the effect. It's the love you gave, the wisdom you shared, the difference you made. You want to be unforgettable. Add value. You want to be respected. Add value. You want to be missed instantly. Be the one that gives when everybody else taking. Because when your time here done, people ain't going to talk about what you had. They going to talk about what you gave. They going to say, they made me believe again. They made me feel seen. They made the room better. That's value. That's the vibration that don't fade. That's the blueprint Nipsey lived by. And when you move like that, when you live like that, when you give like that, you ain't just existing. You're building legacy. You're adding something eternal to a temporary world. And when you gone, trust me, they'll miss you instantly. Listen, love don't mean nothing if you keep it locked inside. Too many people waiting for the right moment to show love, waiting until it's convenient, waiting until somebody gone. But by the time the flowers hit the casket, by the time the posts go up, by the time the tears fall, it's too late. Love gotta live in your actions, not your regrets. We move like we got forever. We assume the people we love gone always be there. But life don't give warnings. It give wake-up calls. And I seen too many people lose somebody and realize they never said what they should have said. They never said, I love you. I'm proud of you. I appreciate you, until they was talking to a memory. That's why I say love out loud while you still here. Love ain't weakness, it's strength, it's power. It's what keeps us human in a cold world. Showing love don't make you soft, it make you solid. Because it takes courage to express what you feel in a world that celebrates ego and hides emotion. Real ones ain't scared to say, I got love for you, I believe in you, I see your growth. Real ones give flowers while they still breathing. See, most people don't understand that love is a language of energy. It's not just words, it's actions, consistency, and intention. You can't tell somebody you love them but keep showing up halfway. You can't claim loyalty if your energy switch every time the situation changes. Love out loud means showing up fully. It means being there when it's inconvenient. It means checking on your people when they go silent. It means forgiving quicker, hugging tighter, and letting your pride take a backseat to peace. Think about how many broken families, broken friendships, broken bonds exist just because somebody was too prideful to say, I miss you. Too proud to apologize. Too scared to be vulnerable. We're living in a generation where people would rather post about their pain than heal it in real life. Everybody talking about cutting people off, but who talking about fixing things? Who talking about giving love a second chance? That's where the real strength is. Love ain't always pretty. It's raw, it's work, it's sacrifice. But it's also the only thing that really matters. When Nipsey passed, look at the way the world responded. The love was massive, global, unstoppable. But imagine if we gave that kind of energy to each other while we alive. Imagine what could change if we stopped waiting for tragedy to show appreciation. Love is the fuel behind legacy. You can build businesses, stack millions, chase goals, but if you don't lead with love, it's empty. The reason people still talk about Nipsey ain't just the music, it's the love he gave to his people, to his community, to the culture. He didn't just talk ownership, he taught it. He didn't just motivate, he modeled it. That's love in motion. I remember one time hearing him say, the highest human act is to inspire. That's a love statement right there. Because when you inspire, you giving somebody belief. You saying, I see the greatness in you even when you can't. That's the purest form of love there is, lifting somebody higher. So if you love somebody, tell them. Don't assume they know. People fighting battles you can't see. Your words might be the difference between somebody giving up or pushing forward. You never know what somebody holding on to. And sometimes a simple, I appreciate you, can keep them standing. Love out loud in every way. Love your friends, love your family, love your grind, love yourself, because love is the only thing that multiplies when you give it away. Don't hold back your affection out of fear. Don't let ego convince you vulnerability is weakness. The real ones know it's power. It's the mark of someone who knows who they are and ain't afraid to show it. You ever notice how when people pass, the things we remember ain't their material possessions, it's their love? We remember their laughter, their energy, the times they believed in us, the lessons they gave us. That's the currency of life, connection, and when you operate in love, you build a kind of wealth no money can match. But let me be real with you, loving out loud also means setting boundaries. It means loving people enough to correct them. Loving yourself enough to walk away when it's time. Because love ain't about staying where you're disrespected. It's about protecting peace so your love can stay pure. When your heart is full of resentment, you can't love right, forgive, let go, move forward. That's how you keep your spirit free. We all got somebody we owe a call, a text, a visit, an apology. Don't wait, because you never know when that last moment gone come. I seen people lose someone and spend years haunted by the words they didn't say. I should have reached out. I should have said sorry. I should have told them I loved them. Don't let that be you. The time is now. When you love out loud, you light up spaces. You become a reflection of God's grace. You heal people just by being kind, by showing care, by choosing empathy. You make the world a little less cold, because this generation needs more people who lead with heart, not hate, not ego, not envy, heart. And when you live like that, people feel you deeper. They don't just remember your words, they remember your warmth. They remember how you made them believe again. That's why love is so powerful. It outlives you. You could be gone, but your energy still hugging people. Your spirit still guiding them. That's the kind of impact real love leaves behind. So yeah, love out loud while you're still here. Don't wait for the funeral to post your appreciation. Don't wait for the eulogy to tell somebody what they meant to you. Tell them today, show them today, hug them today, laugh with them today, because when that chapter closes, it's not the arguments you'll remember, it's the moments of love. When you start living from that space, everything else aligns. Your purpose becomes clearer, your blessings flow easier, because love is the highest frequency. It attracts peace, abundance, joy, everything that's meant for you. So spread it, speak it, live it, because at the end of the day, love is what makes your presence unforgettable. It's what makes people miss you instantly. It's what turns a life into a legacy. And that's the marathon, loving hard, living real, and leaving something the world can still feel when you're gone. See, one thing I learned early in this marathon is that life moves fast, but legacy moves forever. You can lose everything, money, fame, opportunity, but if you build something real, something rooted in purpose, it'll keep running long after you're gone. That's why I always say, don't just live for the moment, build for the future. Build something that outlives you. Because the truth is, time gone past, whether you're working on your dream or not. The clock don't care who you are, it's ticking for all of us. But the question is, what are you building while it ticks? What are you leaving behind when it stops? See, too many people live like they got forever. They chasing pleasure, chasing validation, but not purpose. They stacking moments, not memories. They hustling for the look, not the legacy. Legacy ain't about what you have, it's about what you leave. It's the impact you make, the blueprint you drop, the light you pass on to somebody else. It's about turning your pain into something useful, your struggle into something that can guide others through theirs. When you live like that, even death can't silence your name. Look at Nipsey. He didn't just rap, he built systems, platforms, businesses, ownership. He built bridges between the streets and the boardroom. And when he left, the whole world felt it, not just because of his music, but because of what he stood for. He made the blueprint visible. That's what it means to build something that outlives you. It's about creating something that keeps feeding people after you're gone. See, a lot of people think building legacy means being famous, but fame ain't legacy. Legacy is invisible at first. It's in the work, the discipline, the foundation. It's in the way you treat people, the way you inspire, the way you move. A real builder don't need attention, they need vision. Because when your vision's strong enough, people gon' see it eventually. I remember this old saying, a society grows great when old men plant trees whose shade they know they shall never sit in. That's legacy. You build not for your comfort, but for the next generation's growth. You invest in something you might never fully see bloom. That's selflessness, that's power. So ask yourself, what tree are you planting? What are you building that's bigger than you? It don't gotta be a company or a movement. It could be a mindset. Maybe you're breaking generational curses. Maybe you're raising your kids with love instead of trauma. Maybe you're showing your community that ownership is possible. Whatever it is, that's legacy work. That's foundation work. Building something that outlives you takes patience, discipline, and consistency. It's not glamorous. Most days, nobody watching. Most days, it's just you versus doubt. You gonna question yourself. You gonna want to quit. You gonna wonder if it's even worth it. But that's the test, because everything eternal takes time. You can't microwave greatness. You gotta let it marinate. Look at the greats, Tupac, Malcolm, Kobe, Nip. They all lived with intention. They knew their time wasn't guaranteed, so they moved like every move mattered. They built with urgency, not fear. That's the difference between living and existing. And I get it. Sometimes it feels like you giving everything and nobody noticing. But don't get discouraged. When you're building legacy, you're planting seeds. And seeds don't show results overnight. You might not see the tree, but somebody else will sit under its shade one day and thank you for it. That's the kind of wealth that don't depreciate. You gotta understand, legacy ain't just what you do. It's who you become in the process. The patience, the discipline, the lessons, the growth, that's all part of the build. Every time you choose progress over comfort, you laying bricks. Every time you choose integrity over shortcuts, you laying bricks. Every time you choose purpose over popularity, you laying bricks. Brick by brick, you building something time can't destroy, and don't get it twisted. Building something that outlives you don't mean you can't enjoy life. It means you live it with direction. You make sure every day adds up to something meaningful. You don't just chase the bag, you build the foundation for where that bag gon' take you and who it gon' help. Legacy builders think long term. They know impact outlasts income, because income can buy things, but impact changes lives. That's why you gotta move intentional. Every post, every product, every word, every relationship, make sure it aligns with your mission, because legacy ain't built on accidents, it's built on alignment. Let me tell you something else. When you start building something real, don't expect everyone to understand. Some people can't see your vision because they stuck thinking small. They can't see what you're building because it don't exist yet. But that's okay. You don't need validation, you need vision. Because when the vision's clear, the right people gon' find you. The right energy gon' support you. And when you finally step back and see what you've built, not the money, but the impact, it hit different. You realize the grind wasn't about proving them wrong. It was about proving your purpose right. You realize all them long nights, sacrifices, and lonely seasons was worth it, because now what you built gon' speak for you when you can't. That's what I want for you. To live so intentional that your work outlives your name. That your energy keeps giving when your voice can't. That's what makes people miss you instantly, because what you left behind still feeding souls. Your lessons still echo, your love still present, your blueprint still working. And don't wait till you make it to start building. Start where you are, start with what you got. Don't think you need 1 million followers or a perfect plan. Just start moving with purpose. Build your character first, because character is the foundation of everything lasting. If your foundation weak, your empire gon' crumble. But if it's strong, built on integrity, love, and vision, then no storm can shake it. You see, that's the real meaning of the marathon continues. It's not just a slogan, it's a philosophy. It means we're building something that keeps running, keeps growing, keeps inspiring long after we done running our lap. It's about endurance, elevation, evolution. So keep building, keep planning, keep pouring into people, because one day your name gon' get mentioned in rooms you never stepped in. Your story gon' motivate somebody you never met. Your blueprint gon' guide a generation you never saw. That's when you know you did it right. And when you live like that, when you build like that, when you give like that, you don't die, your spirit multiplies, your legacy breathes through the people you touched, the work you did, the love you left. That's what it means to build something that outlives you. That's what it means to truly live forever. See, there comes a time in your life where you got to stop performing and start living. You got to stop trying to impress and start expressing. You got to stop doing things for the look and start doing them for the legacy. That's what walking in purpose really means. It's when your moves stop coming from pressure and start coming from peace. It's when you stop chasing applause and start chasing alignment. I had to learn that the hard way, because when you're grinding, it's easy to get caught up in performance. You start thinking success is about how it look, not how it feel. You start performing for validation instead of building from intention. You start doing things for claps instead of calling. But see, performance fades when the crowd leaves. Purpose sustains you when nobody watching. You can't fake purpose. You can act like you got it for a while, but life gonna expose it. Because when the lights go out, the camera's off, and it's just you and your thoughts, that's when truth show up. And if you've been performing this whole time, you're gonna feel empty. But if you've been walking in purpose, you're gonna feel peace even in pain. Purpose don't always look glamorous. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's lonely. Sometimes it's the unseen grind that nobody posting about. But that's where the real growth happen. Because walking in purpose ain't about how fast you move. It's about how true you move. It's about being in tune with the reason you was put here and letting that reason shape every decision you make. The crazy thing is, we live in a world where everybody performing. Social media turned life into a stage. Everybody curating, posing, flexing, chasing a highlight reel. But real life ain't edited. It's raw and filtered, full of process. The people who win for real, they don't perform, they execute. They don't need to prove, they produce. They don't chase followers, they chase fulfillment. You got to ask yourself, am I doing this to be seen, or am I doing this to make impact? Because those two roads lead to very different destinations. One leaves you drained, the other leaves you driven. One fades when the applause stops, the other grows when the world quiets down. When you walk in purpose, your steps got direction. Every move got meaning. You ain't just busy, you productive. You ain't just grinding, you building something divine. See, when you're walking in performance, your self-worth tied to the outcome. If people don't notice, you feel small. If it don't pop off fast, you feel like you're failing. But when you're walking in purpose, you understand it's not about instant results. It's about eternal results. You know every seed takes time to grow, so you keep planting even when the soil look dry. Because purpose don't quit. Purpose keeps showing up. Purpose keep believing. That's how I approached my journey. I wasn't trying to be the loudest. I was trying to be the most consistent. I wasn't trying to flex my wins. I was trying to build systems. I wasn't performing for the world. I was aligning with my mission. That's the reason people still feel my energy even when I ain't in the room. Because purpose got frequency, it travels, it echoes, it lasts longer than fame. Purpose gonna demand you to let go of your ego. Because ego love to perform, ego love attention, ego need to be seen. But purpose need to be fulfilled. It don't care who get the credit, it just care that the mission get completed. And that's when you find your peace, when you realize it ain't about being celebrated, it's about being significant. The truth is, purpose gone test your patience. It's gone take longer than you expected. It's gone stretch you beyond what's comfortable. Because it's molding you into the version of yourself that can handle what you asking for. That's why you can't skip the process. Performance rushes results. Purpose respects time, and you can't rush divine order. You got to grow into it. And here's what's powerful: when you walk in purpose, even your pain becomes useful. The heartbreak, the loss, the failures, they all start making sense. You realize God didn't waste none of it. It was all shaping your spirit, all building your story, all preparing you for where you're supposed to be. That's why you can't judge your journey by someone else's highlight reel. Your lane is sacred. Your mission is unique. I remember hearing this quote once: when you perform, you chase applause. When you walk in purpose, you attract alignment. And that's real. Because when you align, you stop forcing. The right people, the right opportunities, the right moments, they find you. You don't gotta fake nothing. You just keep being real. Keep being consistent. Keep being you. Because your energy gonna draw what's meant for you. And don't get it twisted. Purpose don't mean you perfect. You gonna stumble. You gonna make mistakes. You gonna doubt yourself. But even in that, you growing. Every setback refining your focus, every detour redirecting your path. That's the beauty of it. You can't lose when you're moving with intention, because even your L's become lessons that lead you closer to your calling. Walking in purpose also means saying no to what don't align. That's one of the hardest parts. You got to stop entertaining distractions that look good but don't feed your soul. You got to stop performing for people who wouldn't clap for you if you failed. You got to protect your energy like it's currency, because it is. Every time you waste it on performance, you rob your purpose. You ever notice how peace hits different when you know you being authentic? When you stop forcing yourself to be liked and just start being yourself, everything flow easier. You breathe deeper, you move lighter, because pretending heavy but purpose freeing. When you in purpose, you don't chase, you attract. You don't compete, you contribute. You don't imitate, you innovate. Purpose gone have you making sacrifices that don't make sense to other people. You might lose friends, opportunities, maybe even some comfort, but you gain clarity, you gain strength, you gain alignment with something bigger than you. And that's priceless, because once you start walking in that kind of peace, you'll never trade it for applause again. And that's the message I want you to take with you. Stop performing for people who don't even know your vision. Stop shrinking yourself to fit rooms that can't hold your light. Stop measuring your value by views and validation. You got a purpose that's eternal. You got a calling that's divine. And every time you choose to walk in that truth, you set yourself free. So move different. Move with intention. Move like your steps matter, because they do. Walk in your truth even when it's uncomfortable. Stay real even when it's lonely. Stay focused even when it's quiet, because when you live by purpose, your life starts speaking louder than your words ever could. And when you gone, when the lights off, the cameras fade, the noise settles, people ain't gonna remember your performance. They gonna remember your presence. They gonna remember how your purpose made them feel. They gonna remember your light. That's the power of walking in purpose. It don't end when you do. It lives on. Growth look good on the surface. New money, new opportunities, new recognition. But what really matters is staying the same solid person through it all. Because success can change your surroundings faster than your spirit can adjust. You can gain everything and lose yourself in the process if you don't stay rooted in who you are. See, staying grounded don't mean you scared of growth. It means you humble enough to remember where you came from. No matter how far you go, it's like a tree. The taller it grows, the deeper the roots gotta go. Because if the roots ain't deep, one storm can knock the whole thing down. And life gone sends storms. Fame gone test your humility. Money gone test your discipline. People gone test your patience. Staying grounded is how you keep from losing balance when it all hit. I've seen a lot of people rise quick and fall quicker. They start believing the hype instead of the hustle. They forget the long nights, the losses, the people who held them down when they had nothing. But the real ones never forget. The real ones still say thank you, still give back, still keep that same hunger they had on day one, because they know it's not about the spotlight, it's about the source. You gotta remember, everything you built came from something deeper than clout. It came from faith, discipline, patience, and grind. And if you lose touch with that, you lose touch with your power. People think being grounded means being small. Nah, it means being stable. It means no matter how big you get, you don't float off the ground. You stay connected to the truth that made you. I remember times in my life when things started shifting, more attention, more opportunities, and it's easy to get distracted by all the noise. Everybody got advice, everybody want to be around you, everybody act like they love you. But staying grounded is learning how to filter energy. You got to know who's clapping for you and who's calculating against you, because not everyone around you want to see you evolve. Some just want to see you entertain. When you grounded, you move different. You ain't chasing validation, you operating from conviction. You don't move out of ego, you move out of purpose. You know what really matters and you protect it. You protect your peace, your circle, your faith, because those things are your foundation. And foundation ain't meant to be pretty, it's meant to be strong. I seen people from my neighborhood blow up and forget the block. They start talking like they too good to relate to struggle. But real growth ain't about leaving people behind, it's about lifting them up. That's why I always made it a point to pour back into my community. Build businesses on the same streets I used to hustle on. Because staying grounded is about remembering the why, the what. If your growth don't help others grow, then it's incomplete. But don't get it twisted. Staying grounded don't mean you let everybody have access to you. Sometimes the most grounded thing you can do is create boundaries. Because when you're rising, everybody gone want a piece. Some gone come with love, some with expectations, and some with envy. And if you don't protect your space, you'll end up drained, resentful, or pulled off course. Stay grounded in your truth. Know your limits. Move with wisdom. It's also about humility, understanding that no matter how much you know, there's always more to learn. No matter how much you got, there's always someone with less who got more peace. Stay teachable. Stay curious. Don't let pride make you uncoachable. The moment you think you above correction, you're setting yourself up for a fall, because humility keeps you evolving. Arrogance keeps you stuck. You ever notice how grounded people move? They don't react to everything. They don't flex every win. They don't panic every loss. They got this calm confidence, like they know who they are. That's the power of staying rooted in something deeper than success. When your identity ain't tied to the outcome, you stop letting circumstances control your emotions. You become unshakable. Being grounded also means staying grateful. Gratitude is the soil that keeps your spirit rich. When you remember how far you've come, you stop complaining about how far you gotta go. Every level got its own challenges, but if you stay thankful, even your problems look like blessings in disguise. Because gratitude turns pressure into perspective. Let me give you something real. Growth gonna isolate you sometimes. You'll outgrow certain environments, certain friendships, even certain versions of yourself, and that can feel lonely. But that's part of staying grounded too. Knowing when to evolve without becoming arrogant. Knowing when to move on without moving bitter. You can leave the old you behind and still respect where you came from. That's balance. When you grounded, you stop performing for people and start building for purpose. You stop chasing trends and start creating legacy. You stop being reactive and start being intentional. That's when your growth becomes unstoppable, because it's rooted in truth, not approval. And here's what's wild: when you stay grounded, you actually grow faster, because your energy clean. You ain't weighed down by pride, jealousy, or validation. You moving with clarity. You making decisions from vision, not emotion. You understand that real growth take patience. It's a marathon, not a sprint. You might not see results every day, but every step you take rooted in purpose is progress. Look at the people who lasted decades in their craft. They ain't always the flashiest. They're the ones who kept showing up. They stayed true to their core values. They stayed connected to the mission even when the spotlight shifted. That's how you build longevity. That's how you turn success into legacy. So whatever stage you at, whether you just starting or you rising fast, never forget the ground you came from. Remember the lessons that built you. Keep your head high, but your spirit humble. Celebrate the wins, but don't let them define you. And when life start moving fast, slow down enough to check your roots. Because if your foundation's solid, no storm can move you. That's what staying grounded while you grow is all about. Being so connected to your truth that no amount of noise can shake your peace. Being so sure of your purpose that no amount of praise can make you arrogant. Being so aligned with your spirit that no setback can steal your faith. Keep that balance, humility and hunger, gratitude and grind, faith and focus. Because the higher you go, the more the world gon' test your foundation. But if your roots deep, you gon' keep rising, you gon' keep shining, and you gon' keep inspiring, because real growth ain't about elevation alone. It's about evolution. It's about becoming more grounded, more grateful, more God-led with every level. That's the kind of growth that lasts forever. Legacy ain't something you talk about. It's something you build with every move you make. It's not about what you leave behind when you die. It's about what you're building while you live. Every decision, every act of kindness, every seed you plant, that's all shaping the story people gonna tell about you when you're gone. And the question is, will that story fade with time, or will it echo forever? See, people spend their whole lives chasing attention, but attention dies fast. Legacy don't. Legacy, the footprint that stays after the crowd leaves. It's the feeling people get when your name come up. The impact that keep breathing when you don't. And if you move right, your energy gonna outlive your existence. That's what I mean when I say, make your legacy too loud to ignore. When you think about the real ones, the ones who changed the game, shifted culture, touched hearts, they wasn't loud for attention, they was loud in their impact. Their presence carried weight. Their consistency spoke volumes. People didn't have to see them to feel them. That's legacy. That's power. And that's what you gotta focus on, not being known, but being remembered for something that mattered. Because fame fade, but foundation lasts. Don't chase being viral, chase being valuable. You could make 1,000,000 posts and still be forgotten, but if you change one life with your work, your name gone live forever in that person's story. Think about it. Nipsey didn't just rap, he built. He invested, he poured into his community. He turned ownership into a blueprint. That's why his name's still alive. That's why even people who never met him still feel him, because he didn't just chase the bag, he chased meaning. His legacy too loud to ignore because it was born from purpose, not performance. Your legacy ain't in your possessions. It's in your principles. It's how you made people feel. It's how you made your family proud. It's the blueprint you left behind for the next generation. That's the real wealth, not what you can buy, but what you can build that lasts beyond you. A lot of people scared to think long term. They want fast results, fast money, fast validation. But legacy thinking is different. Legacy thinking says, I might not see the full fruit of what I'm planting, but I'm still gonna plant it. It's when you work like your name depend on your effort, not your ego. It's when you live with so much integrity that even your silence speak respect. You ever been around someone who gone but still in every conversation, still inspiring people years later? That's because they lived intentional. Every move was purpose driven. Every lesson they gave, every act of love, every ounce of effort, it all stacked up. They built something spiritual that time can't erase. That's what I want for you, to move like your name matters, to move like generations depending on you, because they are, whether you know it or not, somebody watching you right now, learning from your grind, your courage, your consistency. You might not even realize how much your example feeding someone's belief. That's part of your legacy too. And let me tell you this, legacy don't require perfection. You're gonna mess up. You gonna fall short, you gonna face moments where you doubt yourself. But the difference between those who fade and those who last is this: they kept going. They didn't let failure define them, they used it to refine them. Every scar became a sentence in their story. Every setback became a setup for growth. See, legacy ain't about how high you go. It's about how deep your roots run. It's about the principles you refuse to compromise. Even when temptation loud, it's about being the same person in the dark that you are in the light. Because integrity is the foundation of legacy. Without it, everything else crumble. You gotta ask yourself daily, what am I building that'll matter when I'm gone? Because one day the money gonna be spent, the car's gone rust, the clothes gone fade, the likes gone stop. But the way you made people feel, the way you inspired them to believe in themselves, that energy gonna echo forever. That's what immortality look like. The loudest legacy ain't built from words. It's built from actions. It's in how you treat people when nobody watching. It's in the values you pass to your kids, your community, your team. It's in the example you set when times get tough. People don't remember the easy days. They remember how you move through the hard ones. And that's why your consistency matters more than your clout. Your discipline matters more than your display, because real legacy built brick by brick, moment by moment, day by day. It's built when you show up tired, when you stay solid under pressure, when you keep faith even when the vision blurry. That's the kind of effort that make noise eternity can't silence. When I think about legacy, I think about movement, something that keep going long after the originator gone, something that continue feeding people, inspiring people, teaching people. That's why you gotta pour knowledge, love, and game into others, because one day your voice gone stop, but your message can still speak through them. That's how you multiply impact. That's how you make your name echo. And here's what's deep. You don't need a big platform to leave a big legacy. You could be a mother raising her kids right, a teacher changing lives in a classroom, a friend lifting others out of darkness. You could be a hustler in the trenches showing people it's possible to change. It ain't about how many people know your name. It's about how many lives your name touch. That's why you can't live small. You can't move like your life don't matter. You here to leave something behind, not just possessions, but progression. Something people can point to and say, because of them, I didn't give up. That's impact. That's eternal. And you know what's wild? The louder your legacy get, the quieter your ego becomes. Because when you start living for something bigger than yourself, you stop needing to prove yourself. You stop needing validation. You realize that the best way to make noise in this world is through action, not attention. So whatever your gift is, your voice, your art, your hustle, your compassion, use it with intention. Put love in your work. Put truth in your words, put faith in your journey, because everything you do right now is shaping what people gone feel when your name get mentioned years from now. Let them feel your honesty. Let them feel your hustle. Let them feel your heart. Build something that make people stop and say they was different, because that's what legacy is, being unforgettable, not because you were perfect, but because you were real. So make your legacy too loud to ignore. Build with purpose, live with love, move with integrity. Be so consistent, so impactful, so authentic that even when your time done, your message still running laps around the world, because that's the marathon. Making sure your light don't go out when you do